For example, if the unemployed are hungry, why don't they eat their own bodies? All that good meat going to waste, it makes me mad.
Welcome to Watch Mojo UK, and today we're counting down our picks for the 20 TV shows that never recovered from these shocking moments.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
I got it wrong.
Yeah.
I really got it wrong.
Let's have a look.
Number 20, Overkill, The Bill. A lot of long-time fans cite this as the moment the writing was on the wall for The Bill, which was once one of ITV's most popular shows. Amid struggling ratings and unpopular storylines, they decided to revamp it, starting with changing the iconic theme. Fans were not happy with The Bill making this huge change, as the original opener, Overkill, disappeared. The money would have been better spent sorting out the bad writing, rather than just trying to make it a bit darker. We wonder what song they'll use if the much rumoured reboot ever rears its head, though that seems unlikely. Number 19, Villanelle's Death, Killing Eve.
How do we know what the 12 is?
We might just have to kill them all.
Though the show was already set to end with the series 4 finale, its legacy was annihilated by this baffling decision. Killing Eve was notable for changing its showrunner every series, something that ultimately led to it feeling disjointed and going downhill with each new outing.
It takes over me. Yes, I'm down there.
But then, they only went and unceremoniously killed off Villanelle in the last episode, right after she'd finally, though equally unceremoniously, killed the 12. The show ends with Eve bereft over her death, as she's taken out by a sniper from a nearby bridge in the final moments. The author of the books, in which neither of them dies, hated the ending too. Number 18, H, Line of Duty.
You'll recall this is the last communication we intercepted. And this is the last exchange between Joe Davidson and the user she believed was Patrick Fairbank.
In a way, Dot's classic urgent exit required scene ruined Line of Duty because it could never be topped. But of course we're talking about the final reveal of H as DCI Ian Buckles, an otherwise useless side character.
Come on, Fred, no way.
This can't be right.
It was hard to believe that a man this incompetent had been pulling the strings of the OCG this entire time, but apparently that was the case. He was the fourth man.
If this is right, he's been under our noses from the very beginning.
I mean, for God's sake, what does this make us look like?
Fans were dismayed, with many still hoping that Ted Hastings was going to be the city's bent copper. That would have been a memorable plot twist, rather than Line of Duty ruining itself with this reveal.
Ian Buckles. You do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention and question something you later rely on in court.
Number 17, Morning Wood, Dick and Dom and a Bungalow.
And just do anything apart from don't be Rudy.
CBBC's most controversial, anarchic show, Dick and Dom ruled the weekends for years, until its critics finally succeeded in getting it taken off air. It's believed that a big reason why it was eventually done away with was because Dom wore a t-shirt with the words Morning Wood during a recording.
It's a ferret with a cold! He hasn't got a cold! Look, the ferret's got a cold! Look at it! Oh, no, you got to everyone home. Sorry, everyone at home. Sorry about that.
He said it was merely a reference to his name and the fact that the show was on in the mornings, but this explanation didn't wash with any adults who knew what the phrase really meant.
We spent all night making this arena, didn't we, mate? But it came unstuck. We only got 2 hours sleep.
This was the straw that broke the camel's back. It lasted for 2 more years, but Ofcom had a clear vendetta from that point on. Number 16, Johnny's Death, 2 pints of lager and a packet of crisps.
Look, is Johnny with you? Can you put him on, please? Why not? That's not true.
In its first few series, 2 Pints captured how a generation of British youths were feeling. Layabouts in their 20s going down the pub and falling into each other's arms over and over again. But this is definitely a case of a show lasting way too long.
Taylor, what's wrong?
Johnny died.
Instead of ending with Ralph Little's departure, Johnny was killed off-screen after being eaten by a shark, leaving the other characters to grapple with his death.
She's hysterical, Gaz.
Do you see? He's dead. He's dead, and it's.
We then had to spend years dealing with a love triangle between Donna, Gary and Janet as the cast continued to drop like flies. Even its creator, Susan Nixon, left before the BBC finally cancelled it. Number 15. Piers Morgan quits. Good Morning Britain. Let's not dwell on why he quit so suddenly on that fateful day, but instead on what the effect on ITV's flagship breakfast show has been.
OK, I'm done with this.
No.
Sorry, no. Sorry.
Do you know what? That's pathetic.
You can trash me, mate, but not my own
No.
stuff. See you later.
I'm being...
Sorry, can't do this.
This is absolutely diabolical behaviour.
GMB has ultimately struggled to pull in the ratings it had when Piers Morgan was at the helm, even by pairing Susanna Reid with some other controversial media figures, including Jeremy Kyle and Richard Madeley, the latter being a walking gaffe machine.
This is a 2-hour trash-a-thon of our royal family, of the monarchy, of everything the Queen has worked so hard for.
Good Morning Britain is now just another ITV daytime show that's currently struggling to recreate the magic of its most popular duo. But at least Susanna is still there, though we wonder if she now regrets letting ITV poach her from the Beeb.
But now Piers has decided to leave the programme. Some of you may cheer and others will boo.
Number 14. Grace's death. Skins.
You're not handling the Frankie.
Oh, leave me alone, okay? She's gone.
The third generation of Skins had 2 tough acts to follow. As the Stonehams finally departed the show for good, we got a roster of brand new characters, and the viewing public didn't warm to most of them. However, Grace Blood was certainly the best of the bad bunch.
The last thing I wanted to do is upset anyone.
How valiant of you.
So when they decided to kill her off at the beginning of Series 6, people were livid. Skins never shied away from serious subject matter, but seeing the remaining characters grapple with Grace's absence made it clear that they absolutely shouldn't have killed her. And the show got even more unpopular from that point on. There was no 4th generation.
I love you quite a bit, Rich.
Number 13. Ollie Murs makes a mistake. The X Factor.
Okay, Rita, over to who are you sending home and why?
Was the X Factor always a fix? Some people certainly believe so, and they often point to this gaffe from Ollie Murs as proof.
We've just heard Monica and Anton sing, and now we'll ask each judge who they want to send home tonight.
While hosting, he said that Monica Michael had been eliminated, only for a swift intervention from Caroline Flack, who said that they were actually going to a deadlock.
Unfortunately, Monica, you are going home, I'm afraid. So, Anton...
No, Ollie, she's not, no.
Oh, she's not going to break,
no,
sorry.
We're going to deadlock.
Okay, sorry, I got that wrong. Sorry, my fault. Sorry. Apologise for that, sorry, Monica.
But when the results of the deadlock came in, Monica was booted anyway. This led to more accusations that the show's result had already been determined ahead of time, and that the audience votes just didn't matter. It was just one scandal of many in the life of the X Factor. But it did finally end just a few years later. Number 12. Jet's injury. Gladiators.
They're going to be facing Amazon and Jet.
In 1995, catastrophe struck during a recording of Gladiators. This wasn't the first near-fatal injury on the show, and also wasn't the last, but it did change the way people felt about it.
This is step aerobics gladiator style. Jet intercepts Julie and sends her back in.
During a challenge, Jet fell from the pyramid, and in her own words, heard a crack. For a few moments it looked like she may have broken her spine.
Julie having another go, and Jet's got the measure of her.
Thankfully this wasn't the case, but the damage to her ligaments was still extremely serious and required months of rehab.
Amazon again takes the plunge. Oh, a Jet with a spectacular crash dive.
Udale ended up leaving the show the following year, and while it continued up to the millennium, it was never the same without her. Number 11. Freddie Flintoff's crash. Top Gear.
The bloke's hurt himself. It's not an opportunity for you to gloat or say, oh, I prefer the other team. You could possibly just say, I don't know, get well, Freddie.
We've never seen this television moment, and that's probably for the best. After suffering one horrific crash while filming Top Gear, cricketer Freddie Flintoff had another close call in 2022, The details of the crash have never been made public, either by Flintoff or anybody on the crew. It was so serious that production was immediately halted, and Flintoff disappeared from the public eye to recover.
This might not be evident on the outside, but it's definitely burning inside.
He didn't speak publicly at all until 10 months later, in October 2023, and reached a multi-million-pound settlement with the BBC for lost income over what happened. Top Gear has now been shelved indefinitely.
Now, the BBC says that it won't resume filming of Top Gear's latest series. That's after the presenter Freddie Flintoff was injured in a crash last year.
Number 10. The Candyman, Doctor Who. This classic serial was intended to be a parody of Thatcherism, but we bet you don't remember it for its political commentary.
Impolite guests get to feel the back of my candy hat.
No, you'll instead remember the giant sadistic robot, the Candyman, a Doctor Who monster so similar to Bertie Bassett the Licorice Man that Bassett's complained to the BBC. The Candyman is Helen A's executioner, drowning people in hot liquid fondant and cackling while he does.
I'm disappointed in you, Doctor. I expected you to choose your friends more carefully. Still, she won't be a friend much longer, will she?
And many have cited it as an example of Doctor Who deteriorating in quality under John Nathan Turner's stewardship. It was, of course, cancelled for 15 years after the end of the following series.
I'm finding this rather tiresome. Heads or tails, Doctor?
Number 9. Tim Vine leaves, not going out.
Stop the wedding!
Tim! Though not going out is still going strong, and there are now more series without Tim Vine than there are with him, many people still miss the days when he was one of the main characters.
It should be me standing there next to Lee. No, that's not right.
Oh, it's okay. It's legal nowadays.
He left for the simple reason that he wanted to focus on other things, though he was eventually replaced as Lee's main confidant by Hugh Dennis.
My undying, death-defying love.
But it really does feel like two completely different shows, despite the returning cast members, going back even to before Lee and Lucy got married and left the Docklands flat. Any show that goes on for this long has to reinvent itself at some point, but it was the end of an era when Vine moved on.
You look great. You don't look so bad yourself.
I am still here, you know.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Number 8. Scylla quitting. Blind Date.
Hello and welcome to this very special live show.
Believe it or not, the final series of Blind Date wasn't actually meant to be its final one at all. Rumours had circulated for a while prior to this that Cilla Black was going to be leaving, with Trisha Goddard supposedly up to replace her at one point, but Cilla denied them.
This is going to be my very, very last series of Blind Date.
And then, during the first live broadcast of a Blind Date episode, she announced her departure, without telling the crew.
Yes, but we've got to make it the biggest and the bettest yet. We're going to do that, aren't we?
Though it had just been restructured to go in this new live direction, this was the final nail in the coffin for a show that had, in most people's eyes, already overstayed its welcome. It had a few short-lived revivals, but this was the end of its golden age. Number 7. Punchgate. Celebrity Big Brother. It was definitely already on its way by this point, and many people had been hoping for Big Brother's cancellation from the moment the first episode aired.
My mind ran away with me. I am a sensitive person, only my family and friends can vouch for that.
But after dozens of controversies, this one has cemented the decision not to bring Celebrity Big Brother back. So far, that is. The issue was that contestant Roxanne Pallett accused fellow housemate Ryan Thomas of punching her, apparently forgetting that they were all on camera 24/7.
In the moment, it felt worse than it was. I can't prove a feeling. I can't show you a feeling.
The public rallied around Thomas, who eventually won, and Pallett's career is still in tatters years later. It'll be better for everyone if Celebrity Big Brother isn't revived.
I massively apologise to not just Ryan, to his family, his friends, his fans, every single person that watched that.
Number 6. Nathan leaves. Misfits. There were, of course, 3 more series of Misfits without Nathan, after Robert Sheehan left in between series 2 and 3.
He's dead.
I heard him. I think he was knocking one out.
That does sound like him.
But many people quit watching entirely after he was gone. They felt that Rudy, played by Joel Gilgun, was a poor replacement, though the two are very different characters.
You should see the looks on your faces. Classic!
Iwan Rheon, Antonia Thomas and Lauren Socher left after Series 3, with Nathan Stewart Jarrett departing halfway through Series 4. By the 5th and final series, none of the original cast remained, and Misfits couldn't carry on.
Were you having a wank in there?
Yeah, so off I was. Man can't enjoy a quick shuffle in his own coffin. It's not like I was expecting visitors.
Though it did reach a natural and satisfying conclusion for those who stuck with it for all those years. Number 5. Ab Fab at 20, Absolutely Fabulous. It's been revived multiple times after its initial 3-series run in the 1990s, but it seems to get worse every time it's brought back from the dead.
Oh! What do you do? Melt one down for glue, trade it in for a goat?
You are so ignorant.
Yeah, I'm proud of it.
The 2012 20th anniversary specials weren't well received, to say the least. Though they had plenty of laughs for Patsy and Eddie's most die-hard fans, they weren't a patch on the original episodes.
Eddie? Ed, darling. Did you get my tenor lady pants, darling?
The 2012 Olympic special featured a plot around Patsy no longer being able to control her own bladder and deciding she wanted to leave the partying lifestyle behind, which was perhaps a sign that the show should have ended long ago, when it was at its best.
Oh my God, how can you have missed it? Even coming from the airport, it's everywhere.
Oh, darling, it's been everywhere for 5 bloody years, hasn't it?
Number 4. Everybody Leaves, Spitting Image. An iconic show conceived at the height of Thatcherite Britain, Spitting Image was the UK's satirist-in-chief throughout the 1980s.
Today, yet another hated ex-leader of a discredited regime has been summoned to a show trial.
Get your working class hands off of me!
However, Margaret Thatcher was such a unique figure to mock, and the 80s was such a politically fraught decade, that following her dramatic ousting in 1990, Spitting Image didn't quite know what to do with itself, and it never recovered.
What is your defence? Speak now, O evil ex-ruler.
I do not do any speaking for less than 5,000 quid. All right.
It continued for most of the 90s, but the viewers began to leave, and soon enough, so did the writers. Eventually, so many people quit that ITV had no choice but to cancel it.
Government isn't a charity. The unemployed must learn to eat their own 2 feet.
It was revived in 2020 on BritBox, but in 2023, that version was cancelled as well. Number 3. It Was All a Dream, Crossroads.
Angela, wake up.
Oh, right. Sorry, love.
This popular soap originally ran for over 20 years and was briefly brought back in 2001. But to this day, Crossroads has one of the most infamous endings in the entire history of television. Crossroads went to great lengths to give proper endings to its cast of characters, despite being cancelled for a second time.
That was the weirdest thing. It was like I drifted off to this very strange place.
You are?
However, it's finally revealed that the revived series was, in fact, a dream in the head of Angel Sampson, who's actually called Angela and works in a supermarket.
Maybe some other time.
Maybe. Mr. Sampson.
Bye-bye, Angel.
Even more meta, Angela is a huge fan of Crossroads, which is why she was daydreaming about it. Who knew broccoli could send somebody into such a reverie? Number 2. The Schofield Scandal, This Morning. For years, This Morning has been a titan of British daytime television. Core entertainment for housewives, retirees, and people off sick from work, nothing could stop ITV's award-winning magazine show. Except, of course, for a high-profile scandal.
In a statement, Mr. Schofield said he had lied about the relationship to ITV as well as his agents, lawyers and family.
It turned out that Philip Schofield had had an affair with a much younger male runner, ultimately leading to his resignation.
I did have a consensual on-off relationship with a younger male colleague at This Morning.
In the months since, some have speculated that ITV would cancel This Morning entirely, viewing it as too tainted, while rumours about Holly Willoughby jumping ship have been spreading like wildfire. Only time will tell if This Morning can eventually recover, or if this is the killing blow.
The relationship, he says, was unwise, but not illegal. It is now over.
Number 1. How did Sherlock survive? Sherlock.
It's a trick. Just a magic trick.
The gap between series 2 and 3 of Sherlock felt like an age for fans of the show, with everybody waiting to see how Stephen Moffat would explain Sherlock's miraculous survival after his fall from the roof of St. Bart's.
No, it's obvious. That's how he did it. It's obvious. Derren Brown.
However, Moffat never did explain, and instead spent much of the Series 3 premiere entertaining and then immediately dispelling many of the popular fan theories.
There was a body, it was him. It's definitely him. Molly Hooper laid him out.
No, she's lying. It was Jim Moriarty's body with a mask on.
A mask?
This was probably all meant in jest, but people couldn't help but take it as a direct mockery of the fan base, the very people who were keeping it alive. The show drastically went downhill after that, with some thinking that Series 4 had a secret extra episode that would redeem it, which it didn't, of course.
2 years and the theories keep getting more stupid. How many more you got for me today?
Let us know in the comments if you think any of these shows should come back.
You totally lucked out, did you not, Gracie?
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo UK and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.